So first, we'll start scarcity. One of the most important concepts in economics. Scarcity refers to the idea that resources are insufficient to satisfy unlimited human needs and wants. This is a very important point that everyone needs to make at this point of the lesson. So, um, think about things you want. Off the top of my head, I can think about tons of things I want, but out of them, there's only a few that I need. But human needs and wants, like a few that I need, as in realistically, like maybe I want a new phone, but I don't actually need it because my phone is actually functioning. So there is no realistic way to satisfy. I'm sorry, my condition today is very terrible. There is no way to satisfy all of these infinite um, needs and wants, because there are around 8 billion humans as the most recent time I checked, and each human has many wants and they have many needs, and the resources available to us, unfortunately, are insufficient to satisfy all of these needs and wants. In fact, it is said that if there were no scarcity, there would be no social science of economics. So economics would essentially really not exist without the concept of scarcity. This is because economics is a study of how our scarce or limited resources can best be used in order to satisfy the unlimited needs and wants of human beings. Uh, this is called resource allocation. So we need to find a way to efficiently allocate our resources to satisfy consumers, to give producers fruitful profits, to help the market running. So, very bluntly speaking, economics is based on scarcity. That's the best way you can understand this key concept. Next, choice. In a very important sense, economics is a study of choice. Since resources are scarce, it is not possible for all human needs and wants to be satisfied, as I just mentioned. This means that choices must be made about what will be produced and what will be foregone, not produced and therefore sacrificed. That is an opportunity cost, as I mentioned. Economics studies how different decision makers make choices between competing alternative options, and analyzes the present and future consequences of their choices. So, choice. Assuming that you are not Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, you won't have an infinite amount of money. Of course, I'm not saying that they do have an infinite, but the average person does not have an infinite amount of money, infinite amount of monetary resources to purchase anything they want. Same goes for companies. Companies cannot, maybe not afford the factors of production for all goods and services that they would produce. Factors of production will be covered later on the course, but so therefore, companies and consumers, individual households like us, we have to decide where we will allocate our money, where we will allocate our investments, and for companies, research and development, R&D investments, that's a very big part. So we need to decide. We can't have everything. We need to decide where our money, where our efforts, where our resources will be allocated to produce. And we need to do that in a way that maximizes, obviously for individuals, this may not be, this may not apply but for companies, they need to be very sharp on what, products will bring in the most profits. Now, profits is different from revenue, as you may know or not. Revenue is a total money you've made without the subtraction of factors of production, cost of production, you'd say. So the cost of producing the product. Profit is actual, returns that you'll be getting from each unit. Okay, so no, we can also call that we can also say that's marginal, but for now, marginal could be a little confusing for the beginning, so we will cover that later as well. So next, we'll move on to the next key concept, efficiency. Efficiency is very important. Efficiency refers to making the best possible use of scarce resources to avoid resource waste. In view of scarcity of resources, it is important to use these in ways that ensure they are not wasted. In part, efficiency means using the fewest possible resources to produce goods and services. But in addition, it requires that scarce resources are used to produce the goods and services that mostly satisfy society's needs and wants. This is known as allocative efficiency. So you guys know the word allocate. Allocate means to, distribute to accordingly allocate. But it is very important to do that efficiently in economics. Efficiency also relates to choice. Now you see this big picture, right? It's like a spider web. Economics is kind of like a spider web. You cannot have one without having the other because they all interrelate. They're all interconnected. You cannot have choice without efficiency. You cannot have scarcity without choice or efficiency. You cannot have sustainability without efficiency. You cannot have any of these without the other. Now, efficiency mainly focused on, making the best use of your, available resources without wasting them to, most greatly, I'd say, satisfy your consumers, satisfy the demand of your consumers to bring in the most profits. So that would be a very important key concept here to study. Equity. Now, equity is something that a lot of people have a little trouble understanding, especially if they have some previous financial knowledge. Now, here, equity does not refer to the equity that you be learning from, like private equity. Equity is the idea of being fair or just, equitable. I know you've heard that word, equitable, equal, equitable, equity. Equity is not the same as equality, which is the sameness of treatment or outcomes for people or groups of people in society. Yes, so let me correct myself here. Yes, here, now we'll move on to equity. Equity is the idea of being fair or just. Equity is not the same as equality, which is the sameness of treatment or outcomes for people or groups of people in a society. Fairness is a normative concept because ideas of what is fair vary according to beliefs, value judgments, and ideologies. In economics, the idea of equity and inequity are usually identified with equality and inequality, and are used mostly in connection with equality in the distribution of income, wealth, human opportunity, which all contributes to the probability of success of that person in the future. Yes. So in all economic systems, these kinds of inequities or inequalities are present both within and between societies and are significant issues as many people, right over here, cannot meet their basic needs and lack opportunities. There is much debate among economists on how much and what types of government intervention in markets are appropriate in order to address these issues effectively. Next, economic well-being. Economic well-being is a concept that has several different dimensions. It refers to levels of prosperity, which is being successful, economic satisfaction, standards of living, and amongst the members of a society. Economic well-being includes security with respect to income and wealth, having a job and housing, the ability to pursue one's goals, work productively, and develop one's potential, the ability to have a satisfactory quality of life, which includes numerous factors such as health, education, social connections, environmental quality, personal security, etc., and the ability to maintain all of the above over time, which ensures consistency of the economic well-being of an individual. These are very significant variations in levels of economic well-being, both within nations and between nations.